People from Tembisa can agree with me, Ukuti, this is how the hospital in Tembisa looks like. There is this section that was burned down earlier this year in a fire. There's this section that is abandoned because in such a poor condition, so patients are not allowed to use it. And the ANC government thought, you know what? Let's steal money from them. Let's steal 2 billion rand. That 2 billion rand could have repaid this section and many other sections that are in poor condition at Tembisa Hospital. And I know Ukuthi bakhona abantu baseTembisa who can agree with me ukuthi they have lost loved ones in this hospital. And I'm going to be honest with you, your loved ones died because the ANC thought Ukuthi buying life-saving medicine for them or hiring enough nurses to save their life was not important. They thought Ukuthi buying a Ferrari was more important. Like 2 billion rand could have helped many sections of this hospital. But no, the government thought, you know what? If Ferrari was more important than the lives of people from Tembisa in Midrand, because this hospital is used by a lot of people in Tembisa and a lot of people can't afford medical aid in Midrand. As someone who has been to Tembisa Hospital, who has seen the condition of that hospital, it's so sad to find out that 2 billion rand is stolen. And I'm asking you, Tembisa, don't you ever vote for that ANC? No matter what the candidate of the ANC promises you in a municipal election, ningaphinde niniki chance. Ningaphinde niniki chance. And I'm going to ask you guys, do it in memory of the loved ones you have lost in this hospital.
You are not angry enough. We, as a people, are not angry enough. I'm angry that we fight over such petty things. We fight over color, foreigners, or foreign-owned spaza shops. Yes, there are some issues there. But the fact that we fight over that versus what's going on that is so much larger, it is our fault for putting all that effort into fighting against them, the foreign owners, fight against colored identity versus white identity versus Indian identity, and not realize we are South African. You don't realize that we have a common problem. I'm angry that we fight over the most stupid things. You all know what happened to her. This is Babita Deokaran, who raised alarms at Tembisa Hospital procurement because there were irregular payments going out that ranged from millions upon millions. And when she blocked it, she knew her life would be in danger. She informed the CFO. They did nothing. And then a few months later, she was taken out. There are good people who are trying to do their jobs, but they can't because the criminal entities are much larger and more powerful. And they get away with it because you and I, on TikTok and everywhere else, we fight over foreigners. We fight over skin color. That's a shame. Because, the latest reports have come through. The report shows what Babita was trying to tell us. 2 billion rands was looted from one public hospital. Just one, in a matter of few years. These were the players. Third one being X. We don't know who that is. Very likely a high-ranked politician. That's why he's not being named, or they are not being named. 2 billion rands. Tell me again, is the Zimbabwean or Namibian or Malawian worker the real problem? I ask you honestly. What do one of them do with that money? Look at this. 4 Lamborghinis, 1 Bentley. Oh my God. 250 million rands in just car purchases. Willy-nilly. From public hospital money. We have women who are giving birth on the floor because of not having enough beds, or they're dying because of a basic cut and they don't have antiseptics. We have to rely on very expensive private hospitals because the public hospitals are being ruined. And they're being ruined because you allow it to happen. You are not angry enough. We are angry and we fight over the wrong things always. I mean, look at this. 520 million rands in just identified assets with properties worth 290 million rands. and you're fighting over skin color and foreign IDs and what. There won't be justice until you say there must be. They will just put this under the carpet and carry on. Unless you don't let them. Unless you take action.
2 billion rands get stolen from our public hospitals, and instead of asking, where did the money go? Foreigners are the reason you can't get medicine. Can someone please explain to me why the politicians who are stealing billions from our public hospitals are driving G-Wagons, and instead of demanding accountability, your first instinct is to blame foreigners? How does that make any sense? Do you understand how stupid that sounds? It's like seeing a man who just walked in on his wife cheating on him, and instead of holding her accountable, he turns around and starts screaming at his next door neighbor. That's who you are. You're just watching as your government lies to you, steals from you, and spits in your face. And somehow, it's the foreigners who are breaking our laws. This is just embarrassing. You guys do realize that corruption is also illegal, right? I don't mean to be rude, but if this is how South Africans think every day, we're in serious trouble. And these are the same people we're trusting to vote in next year's election. You voted for criminals to be in charge of our hospitals, and now you're confused that our hospitals are falling apart. How? No wonder this country is a mess. And please, stop saying there's an influx of illegal immigrants in South Africa. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There is zero evidence showing that there is a massive influx of undocumented immigrants in South Africa. The only real influx that's happening in this country is the influx of people who lack critical thinking. Stats SA, the country's most credible and trusted source on population data, has denied the sensational claims made by xenophobic movements like Operation Dudula. Stats SA has never released an official figure for undocumented immigrants. Opportunists like Jacinta Ngobisi are using your economic frustration to stir up racial hatred. If you heard a white woman saying the same things that Jacinta says about Africans, you'd call her racist. Foreigners have been living in South Africa and using our public health care since 1994. Just because the hospital was full on Tuesday means nothing. The only thing that has changed is how much your government steals. This is why corruption thrives in this country. South Africans have lost the ability to hold their leaders accountable. Instead of going after corrupt officials, we go after desperate people who have no power, as if that's going to change anything. But hey, keep chasing immigrants so that our politicians can continue stealing in peace. These people who you voted for have offshore bank accounts, passports, and they are prepared to bounce the moment this country collapses. You're the one who's going to be left behind, angry and broke.
Lina, I'm only catching up now on, what happened in that SIU report, and I'm just getting the big details because I haven't really sat down to see what happened, but the sheer audacity. And I've already made a video before talking about how inhumane, corruption is. Like, you have to have actual hate in your heart for your fellow man if you're gonna steal money meant for a hospital to drive 4 Lamborghinis or buy 6 properties for no reason. That at the core of you, fundamentally, you are an evil person, and I stand by that. But now I'm also seeing like another layer to this. Besides you just hating all the humans around you, you are also incredibly unpatriotic. And I know for some people, like, patriotism is not a, priority. Like, people don't care that much. Oh, this is, my land or whatever. People don't give a damn. But if you funnel money to buy 4 Lamborghinis, and there's no working roads in your country to drive the Lamborghinis, then what was the point? Right? If you steal money to have 4 million in your bank account, but there's no working retailers in the country, so where are you gonna spend it? Like, what are you gonna eat? What's the point? And another thing I'm thinking about also is, okay, so you hate your people, the people around you, right? And you hate your country, the country you live in. At least steal to a point where things can be built to keep people alive so then you can have an audience to flex on. So steal such that, because you're clearly unreasonable, that's how I'm like, okay, let me lower the bar. Steal in a way where at least there's a hospital, right? So that people who are less than you can access healthcare and then not die and then watch you drive your Lambo. How about at the minimum? Let's do it like that.